Though it has been present for a long time, installation art became considered a major strand of art only in the 1960s. But before that, there were several artists who made use of installation art. One of the most famous ones is Alan Capro. As time passed, it only grew increasingly prominent. In the late 1980s, the art market started to crash. This caused a new spark of interest to the public, the idea of conceptual art. This is the time when more artists started to make use of miscellaneous materials, which is fundamental in installation art. So basically, artists made use of uh, conceptual art like light and sound. So here are a few artists that made use of installation art, which is famous for using installation art. Alan Capro, Doris Salcedo, Yayoi Kusama, Bruce Nauman, Olafur Eliasson, and many more. Hello, this is Carl Alex Darito, and that is my part for installation. Thank you.
Good day. I am Ida Regine Garcia and I will be discussing improvisation art. Other terms for improvisation include improv, extemporization, vamp, ad-lib, and riff. Improvisation, according to the New World Encyclopedia, is the art of acting and reacting in the moment to one's surroundings. In relation to art, this means that the artist does not or only has a loose guideline, script, or plan on how to perform or make their art. Because of this, it is often referred to as spontaneous art technique. It showcases the artist's perceptiveness and mastery of their craft. Because the artist usually reacts to their impulses and transforms it into art. Thus, they should have the knowledge and techniques so that they can create beautiful and explosive performances. Improv is commonly associated with jazz music in theater. And contrary to common perception, it is not done only on a need basis. What does on a need basis mean? If there were three actors and one actor goes missing on the day of the performance, the other two actors need to compensate for the missing actor. They will remove or add lines as needed because they need to fill the gap for the missing actor. And this is not always the case with improvisation art because it can also be used to hone the artist's skills. One way to do this is through improv classes. In improv classes, students are given maybe just a topic. Then one student will start with a line that comes into their head, then another student will react to it, and so on and so forth. So this tests their reaction time and how well they got into character, and as well as teaches them when to apply the proper techniques. We will now see an example of a bad and a good improv. In this scene of the comedy sitcom The Office, Steve Carell plays Michael Scott, who is supposed to be bad at improv acting.
Okay, let's get right into it. I need two people for the first scene.
Ooh, Mr. Carter! Mr. Carter!
Okay, Michael, and anybody? How about Mary Beth? Come on.
Mary Beth here will set up a scene.
La 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 la.
Boom! Detective Michael Scott!
Now, Mary Beth acted as a child, but then Michael Scott decided that he will point a gun at Mary Beth, which is a child. So he could have instead chosen to be the child's father, maybe, or friend, and act like another child to be more appropriate to the situation that Mary Beth set up. In the continuation of the scene, the actors have set up another situation, and they're all supposed to be acting like they're in a hospital.
I'm supposed to meet my doctor here. Have you seen him? He's a very angry midget.
Boom! Freeze! Michael Schoon, FBI. You know what you did. Boom! Boom!
Now, Michael decides to be the same character in a different situation. Now, we can see here that he's not that versatile or perceptive to the situation. So, this is an example of bad improv. Now, for a good improv example, we can look at Meryl Streep's viral outtakes in Don't Look Up.
You know, my son is older than you. You don't want implants. I know I had them, but I had them taken out. Look, it's not, yeah, that's like a look that's over. That look is over, you know? You don't look like a porn star anymore. Secret Service cleared the restaurant. We were the only ones in there. And they couldn't make it the way I like it? No, they know. No, I say rare. When I say rare, I don't mean bloody. I don't want any blood. I don't want anybody see, you know, the wait staff. People see people eating, president eating blood on the, okay, I gotta go. You want to be a secret servant? Secret Service? Oh, yeah. Well, I got all these guys their job. Yeah, I could make that.
Now, this is an example of good improv because Meryl Streep did this for around 20 more times, different line each time, all the while staying in character. Let us see some more examples of improvisation art.
Good day, everyone. I am Nicola Balagat, and I am going to discuss to you the examples of improvisation art. The first one is music. Let's say, for example, a recording artist is trying to make a guitar solo for his song. Sometimes these guitar solos just came to them naturally, so that's how it became improvised. Another thing is when a band is performing in a concert and their instrumental solos is there. Most of it is improvised and they are just keeping along with the moment, going with the flow, and performing what they feel. Next thing is dance. Dance is to react to music. In a dance floor, usually in parties like that, the dance moves that dancers do are mostly improvised because they do not really practice that much before they perform because it is improvised. Next one is design. A great example of this are artists when it came to painting or drawing. Design is to build something useful with limited time and materials. Let's say, for example, a painter is doing his art rather, and then he adds slight details that would make the whole art piece beautiful. That's how they improvise when it comes to design. Lastly is theater. A lot of scenes in various movies are actually improvised. First one is from the Joker. This scene is when the explosions was not on time, but his acting was so perfect. His confused acting is very in the scene. So instead of cutting that scene out and reshooting the whole scene again, the editors decided to go with it since it fitted so perfectly. The next one is a scene from the Princess Diaries um, when the Queen of Genovia fell down. I forgot her name. So she slipped in the bleachers and then they laughed. This is not planned. This is improvised and an accident, but the dress, go with the flow, and it made to the final cut. The third one is from the Avengers Endgame, when Peter Parker was starting to fade away because of Thanos. When he said, "Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good." That was actually an improvised scene and is not included in the uh, main script. So, thank you so much. That's all.
Good day, I'm Stephen Bonstavino, and I will report the transcreation. So what is transcreation? The process of creatively adapting content from one language to another is known as transcreation. When it comes to marketing and advertisement in different nations, with different languages, multiple dialects, and distinct cultural backgrounds, transcreation is very important. Essentially, it blends the art of interpretation with the discipline of translation. It is the process of re-evaluating and reconfiguring local market communications to appeal to a diverse group of people with different cultural backgrounds. Understanding a target market and carefully crafting messages using appropriate language, images, style, and tone for effective messaging and best appeal are all part of the transcreation process. Also, it might be difficult to accurately translate and express the same concept from another language when dealing with creative content. When translating content such as slogans, speeches, movies, or films, and so on, this difficulty is a constant stumbling block. In these circumstances, the service given in translation, which is type of translation in which the priority of translation is on the audience reaction rather than the text meaning. It also explains how content is translated from one language to another while keeping the message original style and tone intact while preserving the message intent and meaning. This is typically only possible if the message is tailored to the target or the audience, cultural identity, or background. So, where is transcreation useful? Um, First, websites, newsletters, press release, products, catalogs, corporate communication in social media, and etc. So, example of transcreation art. So, the closest Mandarin translation of chaos is finger licking good. Tagline is eat your fingers off. So, does not make for an appetizing proposal, and so many popular and high-profile advertisements or ads, taglines, or jokes are lost in translations.
So, what's the difference between transcreation and translation? Although transcreation is similar to translation in the sense that it communicates a message across the language barrier, they both have their distinct differences. In translation, the main focus is to remain faithful to the source. On the other hand, transcreation intends to elicit the same reaction as the source to a new audience with a different cultural background. It asks the artist to move away from the syntax of the source and think about what is meant and how to communicate this naturally into a new market. Transcreation is often associated with marketing and advertising. However, the first rise of transcreation is attributed to literary translations. Contemporary examples of translation in art are the Indian adaptation of the Spider-Man comics, which feature Pratyabhavka rather than Peter Parker that we know, battling demons such as the Rakshasa, which is a demon in their local mythologies. Also, in the alterations of manga and anime characters for a Western audience. This can also be seen in the Western adaptation of the Sailor Moon anime, which originally featured Sailor Uranus and Neptune together as a couple. When the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise is adapted to the Japanese audience, The characters and plot became similar to the Gundam franchise. Some scenes and dialogue in the Nausicaa Valley of the Wind movie were originally cut or even altered in the screen adaptation. So what is the process of transcreation? First, we have to do market research. This is the most essential part in preparing for transcreating. It provides groundwork of the target audience and how they are likely to respond. Next is the creative brief. Although this is not mandatory, a creative brief provides a detailed guide on the message, tone, context, style, company ethos, and key points of what will be transcreated. In the adaptation stage, the transcreator will draft a new message in the target language in accordance with the vision, brief, and message. Finally, the transcreation process now begins. Given that the previous steps have been adequately met, the transcreation begins the process with the assurance that the outcome aligns with what is needed. This step requires important considerations on how to naturally fit the message into a new market. These are the language, cultural practices, and legal practices of the target audience.
Good day, everyone. I am Earl Matthew Karaang and I will be reporting about installation art. Installation art is a type of artwork that can be placed in a three-dimensional interior that alters the perception of space. While there are many commonalities, installation art is separate from comparable styles such as land art, intervention art, and public art. Installation art is, as the name implies, the art of putting something inside another object, whether it is installing an artwork inside a building, specifically a designated room or a museum. It is possible for installation art to be both temporary and permanent. The Big Bling by Martin Perrier is an example of a temporary installation art. The Big Bling is a 40-foot tall wooden sculpture encased in a chain-link fence with a big gold leaf shackle on top. The permanent installation art comes next. The Rain Room by Random International is an example of permanent installation art. The Rain Room, as the name implies, is an atrium that simulates rain. The Rain Room is a unique combination of art and technology. People may walk in a torrential downpour of rainwater while remaining dry. This is made possible by sensors that detect people's movement and cause the rain to stop around them. Given that installation art can be seen at museums or galleries, installation artworks are made to be walked around on, and studied. Some installation artworks are so fragile that they can only be seen via a doorway or from a distance. The installation artwork "Étant donné" is an example of a piece that can only be seen from afar. Indeed, "Étant donné" was one of the first artworks to create a specialized and regulated viewing environment for audiences, which is now a basic concept of contemporary installation art. Installation art differs from other traditional art forms in that it provides a whole cohesive experience rather than multiple independent individual pieces of artwork. Installation art is also often site-specific, designed to have a particular relationship with its spatial environment on an architectural, conceptual, or social level.
Okay, good day everyone. I am Michiro Sato, and today I'm gonna be presenting the examples of installation art. Okay, so the first one will be The Yard by Alan Capro. The art basically depicts a filled yard in New York with a lot of tires all stacked up around. The participants and audience can climb up and jump all throughout the yard, much like a playground. Okay, so for the second art, we have Infinity Mirrored Room by Yayoi Kusama. It's a room entirely filled with mirrors, as in the ceiling, the floor, and all the four corners of the room are filled with mirrors. And then light is scattered all throughout the center, light bulbs connected with one another, showcasing highways of light all around. This, mixed with the mirrors, creates a beautiful infinity of lights, similar to that of the universe and all of its awe. Okay, now for the third art, installation art, The Weather Project by Olafur Eliasson. A huge artwork replicating the realism of our sun, where basically a huge orange ball shines hazily with various tricks and techniques, realistically following just like our sun. This, with mirrors all around the entire ceiling, makes the sun look like it's hovering along with the audience, floating in the sky above them. A very, very big and grand artwork. Okay, now for the fourth and last installation art. It is The End of the 20th Century by Joseph Beuys. This art displays 31 big chunks of basalt rock on the floor, affixed in a certain manner according to the artist, while each rock has its own character, its own shape, and its own history. Joseph Beuys then drilled holes in each of the rocks, then reattached it after polishing the broken pieces, symbolizing the slight trace of his artistry in it, while giving a very great message to all. So that is all for the examples. Thank you.